sharing achievers in our unit this year. We had 4 quarter sales. We had 5 new cars, one of them being a brand new pink Cadillac. Woo! We had skincare parties. We had more than anything fun. So much fun. Thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your consistency. Becoming $1 million unit wasn't even something that we had dreamed about, something that I had even thought about. It was all started last year, and my husband, we got to go to the Top Trip luncheon, and they were talking about Rome, and my wonderful, amazing husband, Cristina Hernandez, said, we want to go to Rome, because we're going to go to Rome. So he didn't say we want it, he said we're going to go to Rome. And so I said, okay, so that's the goal. So that was our goal, and we finished really early. And that was so cool. So I'm thinking, like I always think when I finish a goal with Mary Kay, I'm done. And then here goes Lisa Allison and said, prestige, you know. So here we go, let's do prestige. So prestige was done. And so how does a national sales director tell you your goal has changed even before you hit the prestige? Well, she sends us a box full of cookies that say $1 million unit on there. I remember opening that box and I was like, what does this mean? Does she think we're gonna do $1 million? What? Not only did she do that, but then she went and put a post on Facebook with a picture of me and my husband, and then she said, I want you to congratulate it's gonna be our first Allison area $1 million trip earners or achievers or something like that. And I'm like, what? How did you do that? Someone said, delete this. And unpost this. But before I could even try to figure out how to do that, then came you. Then came you. And all the comments. And all of the belief. And you said some of the things and the belief in us. And I said, oh, we gotta do this now. So here we go. So lots of work, consistency, determination, not giving up when we were tired, not giving up when the challenges came, not giving up, and keep going. Because here's the thing, when I work, my mom taught me, you always do your best. You do more than you're asked. And I love when Mary Kay says, shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you land amongst the stars. So if we weren't going to achieve this goal, then it wasn't going to be because we did not shoot for the moon. So we start working. And we did it by the grace of God. Now, I want to tell you what happened before that, how all this got started. So 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, my beautiful daughter, Jessica, Senior Sales Director Jessica Hernandez, approached me and said, Mom, how would you like a free facial? And at that time, Enrique and I was working full-time as an office manager, working 60 to 70 hours a week at a fire protection company. And I was volunteering at church for English Spanish classes, plus we were helping take care of 2 of our granddaughters. Our daughters were single moms at the time. So we had a lot on our plate, like a lot, not just a little. So when she said a free facial, what do we say? If it's free, it's for me. So we walked in, drove up to Pink Cadillac Training Studio in Cedar Hill, Texas, and I look at the sign and I'm like, is this Mary Kay? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, great. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, I just thought it was a different kind of facial. I thought they were going to do it for me. I'm going to do it myself now. She's like, well, do you want to leave? I'm like, no, we're here. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to host a party for your friend. And she's like, well, what do you mean, what friend? I'm like, I was like, she's not your friend and we're here? So anyway, we go in there, and the beautiful Catherine Ward is standing there. Catherine Ward, if you're in here, where are you at? She's standing there, tall, thin, blonde. Please don't get offended when I'm fixing to say. But I'm just telling you what I was thinking in my head. So, and white. But she's standing there, 9 months pregnant, and skinny. Did I tell you she was very thin? Not skinny, thin, but pregnant. And didn't know to like make you mad when you see her. Like, that girl's all skinny, she's pregnant, and still skinny. That makes you mad. That's a baby, like the next day she's thin again. So she's standing there looking all hot and diamonds on her hands, and so she goes and says that, starts talking about Mary Kay and how her highest earning was over $19,000, and I'm thinking, yeah, you could do that. If you're white, tall, and thin, and skinny. Anyway, so she also said that you could make an extra $200 or so by hosting a party or two. And then you'd be in control of your own hours. You get to do the ball, you get to be the boss. And I thought, you know what, maybe that's what we need. You see, at that time, Enrique and I, even though I was working so many hours, we had gotten a bunch of unexpected debt. And so we were living like Lisa Allison says, po-check to po-check. And so we needed an extra job because I wanted to be able to go on a date with my husband again, take my grandkids to get something because I couldn't get anything. And God always gives us what we need, doesn't he? But sometimes not always what we want. At least that's what I thought then. So anyway, I decided to get started. Got a call from my awesome future executive senior sales director, Casey Hill. Where are you at? Casey Hill. Oh, God knows exactly who I need to be with. And so Casey jumps out of my starter kit bag, Superwoman cape on, and she says, I'm like, what do I do? I don't have a lot of time, I'm busy. And she says, okay, 30 faces in 30 days, and coach all your parties, book, sell, everything. Something y'all have never heard of, book, coach, 30 faces in 30 days. So that's what I focus on, 30 faces in 30 days. One thing about me is I'm a pretty good tracker. And I'm the type that doesn't like to leave spaces. I had to get my 30 faces. And so just like that, within 4 months, I earned my first free car with Mary Kay. That was crazy. Like, they really gave me a car. It was funny because my husband had told me before I started, oh, don't do it. You don't want to do Mary Kay because it's a scam. Those free cars and the diamonds, all that ain't true. Pow. We earned the car, and then before long, I had earned an awesome check, a love check of $1,686, and Casey, as smart as she is, says, Cristina, did you know that if you would have been a sales director, this check could have been 5 times that amount? He's like, oh, you're going to be a director. Yes, we're going to be a director. So 3 months later, we became a sales director. The journey was so awesome. I ended up quitting my full-time job a month after I started, and there we went. It was a slow start at first, and that's okay. We started pretty slow, and then we got some momentum going. And then for a little short time in our life period, we had custody of our grandchildren, 2. One 2-year-old and a 5.5-month-old, and that changed everything. That changed everything. Did you know that you can start out with a purpose in your life and then it changes later? And so it changed because I'm like, oh no, I got to take care of these babies. And so I need to not quit sliding by with minimum production, and we need to pick it up. And God is so good, and he brings the people, and we went from Chevy Malibu to, we earned the Chevy Equinox in November. By December, we earned the Ford Mustang, ordered the Ford Mustang, went to leadership to find out that I was going to be the first in the state of Texas to get the BMW. Now that changed everything. Because then I got invited to speak at National Sales Director Sabrina Monday's Wow Night. And when I did that, it was not until that moment that when I walked on stage and I stood about 300 or 400 people, And it was at that moment that I realized what my purpose was. And it wasn't to sell lipstick. It wasn't to make an extra $200. It wasn't to get diamonds. It wasn't to get recognition. It was to inspire hope in other people. You see, in my whole business, I've always taken God in as my business partner. I've always taken him as my business partner. And now I was at a place where they allow me to share my faith about God, what he's done and has done for me in my life. And I shared with you yesterday that I'm an alcoholic that's been sober for 10 and a half years. And if you've ever been an addict of any sort, it could be shopping. I know a few addicts in here. Shopping, heels, addicts. Y'all just don't want to confess it. You don't think it's that bad. It's bad. But you know, when sometimes that happens, you start to think you're not worthy of more. But that's not true. See, God put me in his perfect plan for a time such as this. And I didn't know that. But see, if I'd have sat around and not listened to my calling, not figure out my calling, not wanting to help people, not wanting to serve people, not wanting to build leaders, and that's what it is. Imagine the people that you have in your unit right now at this moment, and you see how awesome they are, and how much better they'll be as a leader, and how much more they can help other people to bring up more leaders and more leaders and more leaders, because that's what this company needs, and that's what the world needs. So I say, don't sit there. Don't think about what you want to do, what you're not going to do. Commit to something. Confess what you're going to do. Confess what you want in your life. Confess it. Because when you confess it, you believe it. And when you believe it, you can achieve it. And if you don't see it, do it. So I ask you for Diamond Seminar. I'm going to call you a Pearl. Diamond Seminar. I ask you to think about what you want and to embrace your dreams and go for it. Thank you so much.